All right, I guess we're doing this. We're live right now. 30 minutes after market open. I've been monitoring since around 8:30. No trades yet, but one slightly missed opportunity. I was wanting to be long inside of this 1 minute gap, but felt like a little too unprepared this morning. Had some issues processing a payout from Top Step. They apparently are not doing wise transfers right now, so that kind of threw me for a loop because I'm Canadian and Canadians need wise because wire transfers cost extra money. So I'm getting dinged 30 US dollars and probably shitty foreign exchange rates to get that money deposited inside my account. But essentially, the idea was we tag liquidity after generating a low here, kind of seeing some relief and then swiping through it, bouncing up, seeing some displacement, the expectation that like, hey, enter in long, no real target, just hoping to ride the momentum up and, taking off profits when seen fit. But I was not able to get involved mainly because the set number of contracts on my account were at 10 and I was like, well, shit, do I just gamble this? Should have. Really should have. If I had held through the whole entire thing, I would have maximized the potential to make $3,500 in about 30-40 minutes, but I guess in 50 minutes. But yeah, ever since open again, I haven't seen anything I've liked. I tried to do a little bit of a scalp from here to here, but I ended up getting a shitty fill because the initial first minute kind of did this really manipulative wick and then came back down. So I ended up just getting a break even. If only this candle, this 931 candle, if this was the 930 candle, I would have been like set. I would have been up my $150 on the day and I would have just called it there, shut down the good old computer and took a nice little day off. Instead, we're stuck here. I can't complain. There's worse things to be doing in life than trading. Could be clocking in for a long 8-hour shift, doing manual labor or something like that. But right now, we're surviving. We're getting payouts. We're making money. We're just trying to get to that next stage where the payouts become a little bit more consistent and a little bit more measurable, instead of feeling like you have to fight tooth and nail for them. Also, not a fan of this lack of reaction off the lows. I mean, I like the initial reaction here, but then we came straight down. That's telling me that we just we don't have the momentum on our side to just push through this. Like the only thing I'm worried about is that this is just one of those weeks, because we are into Thursday now, where it's just a down week. Monday opened up and we basically Monday opened up and we basically bounced right above this new week opening gap and then came straight down, flipped it, never retested it, and just seen a very strong sell-off since. We've hit the only remaining liquidity level. Also, I guess I should just go over all this stuff now. We hit the only remaining liquidity level. Like on the 4-hour, the next 4-hour low is way down here. So like 600 points below this low. And really the next like major liquidity level is down into this gap here and then ultimately down there. But I don't think we're going to be making a new low of the month. I don't think that's going to happen, but we do just have to be, because I mean, that's just such a strong bounce. I really don't expect us to come that much lower. Like Monday, Tuesday. And I mean, the problem with a lot of these moves is, like, look at this, is all overnight moves. Like Monday, Monday, I mean, the move happened during the session. but it was pretty difficult to catch this move. I mean, we were down. This is a 6 a.m. candle, so we'll just say around half. We were down like 400 and some odd points. We basically did nothing the rest of the day. After sweeping this level right at open, right after open. Yesterday was just a clusterfuck. I mean, we did absolutely nothing. And then today so far has been a complete, what looks to me like a manipulation like lower. But I don't know. Um, um, yes, I mean, just looking at it, we're holding this 15-minute gap. We swept this 15-minute level inside of the gap. I just would like to see a bounce, better bounce than this. This looks just very choppy, especially since open. We really haven't done much because the only gap we produced in the first, like initial swing of the open was completely overrun almost immediately. Um, yeah, I'm happy I didn't take that long. I was potentially thinking of taking the long off of that change in state of delivery, but I wanted to see if we would form a fair value gap to show that type of displacement, but we didn't end up forming the fair value gap. And when this candle opened, we came straight down. So that was an immediate disqualifier for that trade. Because I mean, it was going to be a pretty hefty stop, which I was not willing to do the full stop. So I was expecting, okay, if we form a fair value gap, that fair value gap should really hold price higher, which means having the stop, reasonably below to allow for a little bit of manipulation should be okay for us to do and still be okay, but did not get that, so that's okay. But I don't know what we're looking for right now is I don't know, it's pretty hard to say. Like on the 5 minute in the on the 5 minute on both assets, it looks pretty bearish. Like ES just inverted a big 5 minute gap. It's looking like it could ES could get and NQ really could get a change in state of delivery. To the downside. I mean NQ kind of created a 5 minute bearish order block. Like if we look at this, I mean technically all this consecutive close candles. But yeah, it just seems to like right now, although the draw and like although like there's such a strong draw above us, I just don't see the willingness to go higher right now. We're being stopped by something. And again, it's just one of those things too where when you have these large moves that occur prior to open, like overnight, you kind of come into open sometimes and it's just it's a chop, right? Because I mean, I'm just curious, like we had a measured move, right? We came down, we came up, tapped 50% precisely, turned down, came straight to a level, came back, bounce, Like it looks like I'm bullish on the day. There's nothing that's telling me I'm not bullish. Like I don't have a reason for us to go below this 241 level. Like the next level, like we said, is 831. You know, it's 600 points below. I just don't see that happening, but I also don't like this. We're in a chop. We're still inside of this range that we created a few minutes ago. This low to this high. We're still inside of that. Created equal highs. And there's just nothing to validate anything on the higher time frames either. Like 2 minute, 3 minute does have this. It just, unfortunately, it wasn't a gap that was utilized to send price lower. It's just a gap that we've tapped into and failed to break. But again, like these types of longs are just not something I take, because you're just way too high up in this range to like expect that if we flip this gap, we're not going to come back down. Which is why like these types of gap fills, or these types of gap entries, I just don't like. I don't like when, so if I'm drawing like, so if we're seeing this as a reversal, we hit this level, we've seen a bounce, we have change in state of delivery here, climb up, retracement, climb up, manipulative retracement deeper into OTE, and now we're expecting a bounce up. This leg, this manipulation leg, I don't want to be taking inversions that are in the premium of it. We want to be taking inversions below 50%, because then, just simply speaking, like even if we just draw a random gap right there and we say, okay, we're taking along here, stops down to there, we still get at least a 1.0, like a 1R just to the internal high, but that's never what you're targeting. So all of a sudden, that trade becomes a 2.7R trade. But if we're doing this, all of a sudden, where does this stop go? Does it go down below this candle? Does it go below this 50%? Does it go right tight? Like there's like, does it go all the way down here? So I don't like taking gaps that are above the 50% of, or like in the premium of this retracement leg. Because I mean, these taps, this unwillingness to go higher, this struggle to go higher, is telling me that something's missing. We're missing something. Either we're in for a full sideways chop morning, or we're missing that maybe we need to go lower, or maybe we're heading lower today. And I think the best thing about trading is that you don't always have to know what price is doing. If you don't know what price is doing, you can just sit here. You don't have to take a trade. Like this might, produce an order block here and start to slowly climb, and all of a sudden we're filling the regular trading hours gap, and you can look in hindsight and be like, oh, look, there's an easy 1 minute gap. Oh, there was this, there's that. But right now in the moment, looking at this chart, can you really honestly say you'd be willing to put money on where we're going next? Would you really be willing to put money on saying we're going to fill this gap before we come down to this low? Like 1.5R. And is this really, do you really feel safe? I don't know. It feels like a coin flip to me right now. I know the magnet is up here, but it feels like there's another magnet below us. So when that happens, you just sit on your hands. You just sit on your hands and you wait. Simple as that. You wait for an opportunity to present itself. All right. Go to the bathroom. All right. Yeah, just there's some reason why we can't go higher right now. And now with ES sweeping this 930 low basically, we don't have SMT in our favor anymore. We definitely don't have strength up. Like it seems like this very strong bounce that we had, because by the way, like when this was live happening, we were just putting in like unlimited green candles. And I was just watching this thing run away thinking like I literally could have just clicked buy at any moment in that 20 minutes. And I would have sat through the maximum I would have sat through is a minute worth of drawdown. And you would have been positive and break even and had no retracements. But shit happens. Sometimes you just ain't prepared. And at this point, I just resolved the issue with the payout, and it was a little bit I was a little bit too I was a little bit annoyed. I think the main reason I'm annoyed is just because of how much longer it takes for it to come on a wire transfer. Because presuming, you know, today's Thursday. I mean, I don't, you count this as a business day. Tomorrow's a business day. You know, all of a sudden you're Monday and you're still only 3 business days. You're still only 3 business days, and it says it can take sometimes 3 to 10. So it's like, well, shit. But I mean, so far, I mean, I'm on the payout section. It's got like 7 steps: submitted, funds removed, funding approved, risk approved, trust approved, finance processing, and then funds sent. All 6 of the first ones were approved within the first, like I submitted the official thing at 8:28. So again, like this whole move that I'm talking about, like we're talking mere minutes after I had figured this out. I was still trying to work on what my plan was going to be for the day. But where are we in the charts? Let me just keep this open here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll just kind of sideline that. Let's just get things. I do really like having just NQ open, because honestly, at this point, add alert. We really just need the alert for this. If it's gonna take that level, no, we don't want us. It's gonna take that level. It's gonna take that level. But I like this gap. I like the view like this better. Honestly, I feel like it's cleaner. So here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So this right here, we swept this low. Okay. We swept this low. Let me just see. Yes, creates equal lows, of course, but it did sweep that. Technically minor SMT there because NQ did take it. Like technically speaking, this qualifies as a setup. technically speaking. But in actuality, I just don't like it because again, it's just on the backs of all this, and I just don't feel like this sweep here is a big enough manipulation leg for me to just take the first inversion. Like again, I think this technically qualifies. I think we had a sweep of liquidity. We had momentum. We have technically a gap opening up. We have clear and obvious draw, bias in alignment, like everything that we need to kind of check off for our entry model is here, but I am going to pass out on this one because I don't trust the longs inside of this stuffy range we have today. Because there is just like a lot of liquidity. Like we have this regular trading hours gap fill, and then 50 points later we got this high. Then another 30 points later we got this, and then another 50 points later you got Asia high, and then you got previous day high, and then you got Monday high. No, you got those equal highs in that kind of range. Yeah. So again, this could work out. I think you're being offered a nice entry here, but again, I don't trust it. So I am just I'm just sitting on my hands. I do like the fact too that we do have generated equal highs here. So that is definitely in your favor. But the good thing is on the 5 minute is there finally is some higher time frame structure. So it's something we did not have on the 5 minute, for example, when we were in this kind of area here, is we didn't have any structure to validate longs until we got above this set of consecutive down close candles. But now that we've kind of had this resweep, we had this high put in, equal highs, we do have a 5 minute order block right here that you could utilize as a area to send price higher. So again, like I said, called this move out. I said it technically hits all the requirements. I didn't like it. I didn't want to take it. So I've, elected to stay sidelined on this move. Now, if I was in this move, I would definitely be having my stop down to this low because I just don't think that a sweep of this low is anything valid, and probably potentially break even with these highs being taken. So, and keeping in mind the fact that I probably would close the trade completely upon something like this. So, I mean, technically speaking, you could have, your stop could have been here. I mean, I could have jabbed this lightly, but it's okay. So what I love about 2 micros, which it amazes me, because the difference between 1 micro and 2 micros, I feel like is a bigger difference than any other difference you can talk about. Like the fact that this trade with 2 micros is almost $200, but this trade with 1 micro is only 150. But then the risk, I mean, because it's just the difference between 1 and 2 is double. Even though it's only the increase of 1 measurable unit, it's still double. Yeah. We do have the 5 minute confirmation on both ES and NQ. I mean, stop below there. The problem is we just have, or like the good thing is we just have so much to target. Once we do decide, or once we do have a sponsored move higher, which I do expect us to eventually get, we have so much to target that, like, if your final destination is here, like, you are so good. Because if we do come up to here, we're most likely coming up to all these levels. But again, it's about confidence. And by the way, I mean, I think it's safe to say probably would be break even. And entry probably would have been on this candle closure. So keeping that in mind, that technically speaking, like I said, this trade met the standards that I would have wanted to see in a trade. It just personally didn't feel right, so I didn't take it. And right now we'd be tagged at break even. So again, Dodgy probably loves this trade because he enters on this and takes full TP here. And it's pretty much for him probably, he aims for like about a 1R, so it's about 40 points. He has a stop down here. I mean, it works, right? To be fair, like 2 micros, and you got the 150 day right here. But yeah, so we're seeing that move lower. This is kind of exactly what I expected. That's why I wasn't interested in taking the longs yet. Because even like still, like if you look at this 5-minute candle that we put in earlier, it was a very strong candle. But immediately we just engulfed it in 2 minutes. Same thing with this candle. Very strong candle, encapsulated the entire range on both ends, swept both ends of the range, and then the next candle opens up and we see a upwards of 60-point retracement inside of a 100-point range. So 100-point range, 60-point retracement, that's way too deep. Like this gap was tapped into. This gap was tapped into. We expanded higher. We shouldn't have to come back down. Like your last line of defense is order block. So just seeing if any of these time frames gives me anything more than the lack of confidence that I'm feeling right now. Because again, it doesn't matter now at this point what the trade idea would have been. It would have been a break-even trade. So, I mean, obviously mark down, like, just for my journal, just mark down like the, I don't know, we'll just call it the 10, 20. Yeah, so I'm just basically saying that 10-20 long, checked all the boxes, but my intuition and analysis of price for the first hour of the open kind of led me to not trust the longs. But like we have a bit of a high resistance market right now, and that high resistance market is not allowing for follow through. It's not allowing for continuations. It's simply just going back and forth. Like again, ever since 9:54, we are now 37 minutes since that low was put in, and we have just sideways. So again, 1 minute long. If your strategy is 1R quick scalps into internal liquidity levels, then I mean I'd probably call that an A+ trade. I haven't quite, as much as I have learned from Dodgy, I've never really been one to take these types of trades where it's like just kind of immediate. Like the fact that this is a precise 1R with your stop right below the gap. Precise 1R works out in like 3 minutes. But again, just not my style. We've now tapped this order block, so I mean, this is really the last line of defense. If this order block breaks through and we get below this low, I do expect us to come right down to here. So, and I mean, this will basically produce a big long order block to the downside as well. So I'm also going to just eye this. I mean, it's not ideal, but technically speaking, this can provide an opportunity to the downside. Especially now if we get this high kind of put in right here, and then we engulf these candles, these two up close candles, and close below here, creating an inversion. This would be a short, but again, I'm not in my plan for the day. I didn't have any stipulations for shorts. I just don't think you can structurally support shorts because I don't think there's any external draw. There's just an internal draw. And if I have 5 major, realistic, doable targets that we could hit today. 5 major ones. All 5 of them are above us. So I don't know why I would fight that, because if I was looking for shorts and I felt like we were biased short, everything was short, all that kind of stuff, and we had all that above us, I would feel uneasy shorting, even if the market was bearish. But the fact that we kind of have a bullish turn because the only bearish target had already been hit prior to open, it feels like we have a bullish bias, bullish targets. Bullish bias and bullish targets. Why would I look for shorts? Right? So yeah, it's looking like it could potentially be a no trade day. We still have 30 minutes. We have the final macro. That's where I'm gonna allow myself to look for a final entry. I think in that final hour macro, we can kind of take a look at where we think it's realistic to draw in those 20 minutes towards. Just so annoyed at that first minute of open. Like how does this even happen? Like even prior to open, every candle was kind of distinctly like solid, and then open comes and produces like a huge candle, produces a 50-point candle that's all wick, and then the next candle produces a 91-point strong closing candle. Oh. No, yeah, see, he took that. I feel like my discretion is getting really, really good. I'm just kind of going over what other people have been seeing in the market. Oh, I just saw someone talk about crypto. What's going on there? I don't really have like I don't even know what all this shit does. I don't know if is there like a crypto. No, there's probably not a like these are all by country. I mean, I guess I could just go just see what it's at. Oh, it's at 96,000. Oh, wow. Or sorry, 98. It's basically at 100,000. So where does it come from? Oh, has it really? Oh, you know what? To be honest, I have not looked at. Wait, I thought we were. Oh, this is Canadian. Oh, fuck me. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm like 90. I'm like, where? Like, I thought we were in like the 50s a little while ago. Yeah, we were in the 50s at the end of June. So I went for vacation. Here, this is why I'm all fucked up right now. 80 in May, we were at 80,000, and then we saw this sharp dump on crypto, right down into the 50s, right before I went away on vacation, and then I was gone for a month. I come back, still hovering around there, and now all of a sudden we've seen a jump. Like on Monday this week, or even on Sunday this week, we were in the low 60s, and now we're at 71. So just over the past 5 days, we're up 13%. So, that's something, obviously, but yeah, I would not really trust anything right now. But it's interesting because I'm looking on YouTube, like I was saying earlier, and Tyler took this 1 minute change in state of delivery off 15-minute sweep. You had SMT, deeper reach into a fair value gap, swept the low inside of a fair value gap. Everything seemed okay, but just structurally speaking, I just felt like this wasn't a good trade. I felt the same thing when we got this 1 minute inversion. And both times I've been vindicated, essentially, because even now, the original stop loss would have probably been tagged because, I mean, after taking out these highs, you would not have been original stop loss. You would have had some sort of trailed stop loss. Like even something as simple as if we started at the bottom here, we would have trailed to the low of this gap, maybe. That would have been tagged. So it would have been a break even or losing trade. But for me personally, it would have been an entrance on here or when we tapped into that gap, and it would have been full break even after that high was taken, because I probably would have been in on one micro, which means it would have been that kind of, oh damn, so he sat through this trade for a long ass time. That sucks. And it was basically break even before it just decided to spin around. All right. Well, let's continue the little tour around the world of YouTube and see where everyone else is kind of landing themselves today. Tanya looks like she took a loss earlier trying to short inside of this whole mess. Again, I know it's hindsight, but I was calling this out live. I was saying, no way am I longing inside of this, and I was 100% vindicated, because it's not like we've drawn lower into any type of like major liquidity. We've just been sideways, which is kind of, I mean, again, it's what we called out. I said my last sentence of my plan was, I do need to be cautious as we have had a large overnight move, and that can lead to a choppy AM session sometimes. And like, you notice the language in there. I do need to be cautious. I need to be cautious. Not I need to stop trading. I need to shut the computer down. I need to not look. I need to be cautious. I need to have a yellow light in my head on the trustworthiness of price action. And then I said that can lead to a choppy AM session sometimes. So I'm not like if I was like, I need to be careful due to the large overnight move, it's probably going to chop all morning. All of a sudden in your head, you're like, okay, it's going to chop all morning. Well, I'm not even going to look for a trade. But I had two opportunities where I was really heavily considering a trade. Both opportunities I didn't take. Both of them didn't work. Both of them would have been, well, the first one would have been a full stop loss. The second one would have been break even. So we're getting a bit of a pump now. I like that. I do like too that this 3-minute gap actually becomes a lot more crucial because of the fact that it was utilized to send price lower. So notice how these first two, well, this first tap never produced a liquidity sweep. This second tap produced a liquidity sweep. And then we came back up again and rejected. So the amount of times we've rejected off of this level, this gap, inside of the opening hour, we've been in here for basically an hour now. If this flips up, I think that is your best long. But again, it puts you in that exact opportunity that I mentioned earlier, where you're taking a premium flip when the market has clearly shown that it can look very bullish and turn on a dime. And the fact that your stop loss would realistically have to be at the nearest low. Sorry, well, I did the opposite key, but I mean, we might as well do that. You're not even at a 1R to this regular trading hours gap fill. and you're inviting almost 100 points of risk. So no, not interested in that trade. So we're just gonna sit sidelined. I did take a trade overnight. Would like to discuss. It ended up getting stopped at break even, but I only did that because I wanted to allow it to sit overnight and see what would happen. But I do want to go over that trade idea because I marked this out. So essentially what we had was we opened up, we saw a clear expansion higher. I think we had like a 15-minute gap here. So I was kind of eyeing, oops. Yeah, I was going to say it didn't look like as much. Yeah, so we had a 15-minute gap at open. Again, like yesterday, we saw a lot of sell side liquidity targeted. Like we put in a low, we put in a lower low, lower, like we've seen a lot of sell side action. So I was thinking, all right, we then saw a bounce, consolidated, and then we opened up, saw a bounce. I was like, if we get a retracement into these 15-minute gaps, we should be primed to go and hit this high right here. Seems like we've done enough work on the sell side and maybe we can see a bounce. So what I essentially got in on was a 1 minute fair value or 1 minute inversion. I just waited for the retracement before I got involved, but you had, and also too, I was seeing this in live as well. I wanted to wait for the order block. So I eventually took the trade when we tapped into this fair value gap here, but I don't know why I didn't trigger the longs here. I triggered them here. Turns out it was a great idea because we ended up getting a retracement, especially after failing. Because the other reason why I kept it up too is I noticed that we put in relative equal highs. The only thing I would say with this trade was that I kind of in my mind was thinking of like people I know who trade Asia and how sometimes they just leave their stops. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just leave the stop wide open and let's just see what happens. If it works out, we can analyze it better. If it doesn't work out, but essentially what I was targeting was this high. But I mean, this high right here produced almost a 2R. You know, I know Dodgy took, I think, the long here where he got in here and then took everything off here. Would have been nice, but I ended up just getting fully stopped down here later on in the morning. And that's at midnight, or that's at 1 a.m. Like this, obviously after I got into the trade, we essentially saw like 4 or 5 hours of straight chop. But all right. Okay, so at least now we have kind of put in a little bit of a low inside of a fair value gap here. So technically speaking, 45, that's 15. We are going to get the 3-minute close here in the next 45 seconds. So here's the question for ourselves. Do we trust that a stop loss below this 1 minute gap, which we utilized to send price higher, created a propulsion block inside of this fair value gap, that once we flip it, we're going to be good? Do we trust that? Well, first of all, we need to get the... Oh, we got the closure. So the 3-minute has officially flipped. 3-minute has officially flipped. The long should be triggered on the close. We even have a 3-minute here. I don't know. It looks nice. I just think my only worry is that my stop loss is not going to allow for this trade to actually breathe. Technically speaking, you shouldn't be coming back down here on an inversion. But considering that, like, we have swept liquidity, produced a like 5-minute 110 point run, and then right after that run came down, let's just call it 90 points, like 80 points. Like it's too untrustworthy. But we're gonna tape read. I just don't think the conditions today are high probable. Probably not going to be taking a trade, but we're gonna tape read. the 3-minute long. I have that marked out. Uh, Market feels low probable. We're low probability. Like if this is all it does, then that is incredible. Again, we're taper reading, which means we're learning because again, like this trade here, which we're gonna study again later, we are saying that both of these trades on paper check all the boxes required for an entry. But the most important thing that I think distinguishes ICT traders from just mechanically structured traders is that there is that bit of I don't know. There's a word for it, but there's room for actual like discernment. So like if I'm seeing something in today's if I'm seeing something that is happening today, I can make decisions that help avoid getting stuck in something that maybe is inopportune, like this chop. Like the fact that we have been basically chopping now for over an hour and 20 minutes with no direction, no liquidity sweeps on the high time frame, no significant levels reached on bullish or bearish sides. Nothing has happened all morning. Why am I going to take a long? Especially this high up. Like this is our total range for the entire day. For the entire session, it's 164 points. And I'm going to be taking a long in the upper quadrant of that. I mean, this is proving exactly why. And again, like I said, the stop technically should probably be way the fuck down here, but that's 100 points and that's barely a 1R. So technically speaking, if you're taking this trade and you trust the long bias on the day, you can put your stop here, but I would have had my stop below that 1 minute, which we've now closed. No, we haven't closed, but we're potentially going to. So didn't work out. So that's technically the second quote unquote A plus trade mechanically that I called out and said isn't going to work. So, I mean, I'm happy. I'm really, really happy with how I traded this market today so far. I think it's been good. Patient. I had a little bit of, little bit of issues when I was trying to long inside of this kind of thing. I almost got screwed. I'm up $4.20 on the account, so I'm green today. But yeah, that's crazy actually. So what happened was the trade was actually a $22 trade. So I technically got almost a point. But because of the commissions of $7.50, that's how much commissions are for 15 micros. And then fees are $10. That's wild. That's okay though. All right, we're just going to head to the bathroom. But I mean, again, very happy with how I've traded so far today. No complaints. Here's another question to ask as well with price action is, would you feel confident if you were in this long? If you were in this 3 minute long and you were saying, and you had your stop down here, you were expecting a bullish day today that was going to continue on. Like, it's a beautiful trade on paper. It's a level that we have been resisting this entire morning. We then flip it with some decent strength, some fair value gaps along the way. Stop is in a very reasonable place down below. Should be protected if we're going higher. But would you feel very confident right now? Or would you feel like there's a potential that we hover inside of this drawdown range for the next, hour, 2 hours? There's a potential that we sweep this level on ES and then we see another retracement down, and then you're just stuck in this awkward place where you either close the trade early for a small loss, you just close it early, break even, despite having to sit through so much. Now we're just going to clean this up a little bit. Let's go up the time frames here. Let's start with the 4 hour. So 10 a.m. open, 4 hour. We're stuck inside a previous 4 hour. 60 minutes. We are, purging this 1 hour gap. Another reason why it's like tough to take longs. We had a kind of consolidation during Asia, a dump during London, retracement during early AM session, and then a complete and utter rip lower. Hourly gap forms. We trade into that hourly gap and we fail to do anything. We fail to displace higher. We fail to really see a strong push. And now we have back-to-back hourly candles, potentially back-to-back hourly candles going to produce a long rejection wicks to the upside. That looks really bad for longs. And again, you are now very close to being stopped out, even with the most, amazing stop you could possibly have, right? So extremely happy with today's. Really, that's the word I think I was looking for earlier, was discretion. What ICT trading allows for is discretion, being like, okay, I see we've been chopping for the past hour. We finally get a flip that kind of validates my idea, but do we really feel like we're done with the chop? Like, look at that 1 minute. We swept this low, ripped higher, produced perfect structure, but we just sweep an internal high and then come back down. Sweep an internal high, come back down. It's just what we're doing. So now that I've seen that, I'm live in the market, I'm seeing that, I'm saying, you know what? I'm not trusting anything. And now 2 times in a row within the last hour, we have not trusted a move, and that has paid off in an amazing order. We have avoided 2 very, very questionable, 2 very, very real potential losses. I'm extremely happy about it. Because although I'm the king of not taking trades because I talk myself out of it, I'd rather be somebody who is break even or slightly profitable than someone who's majorly negative. Because I know eventually when I start becoming very, very profitable, it's going to be a numbers game, and it's going to be, buying as many accounts, trying to pass them, trying to grind them, trying to rip them as high as I can. I get all that. But right now we're trying to preserve capital as best as we can as we, continue on this road to glory. I mean, I labeled this episode 1. I don't know how this is going to work. Probably going to try and do it every day. I'm not really caring or looking for viewers per se. I'm more just looking to build a online footprint of my journey, profitability journey. And you know what? Just to give myself that little bit of confidence, that little bit of, hey, you know what? I don't even know. It's going to pop up right here. There we go. Nathan F. $713 US from this one account. Canadian, express funded account, proof of payout. Beautiful. I don't think I'll ever get one for my other payouts because they were on the old dashboard. But yeah, proof of payout. Amazing. Couldn't be happier, really. I'm just gonna start going over. I don't have a good pen here. Oh, this is supposed to be on. Hey, wait. Yeah, I don't know where my good pen is. I think it's there. Must be in my bag downstairs. What do we have here? I guess this one's okay. Someone stole my other pen too. Yeah, so I've been working on actually developing this whole thing as a business. I'm just gonna talk it through, honestly. I'm someone who likes to talk these things through and ramble, so it's just gonna be a part of the video because there's nothing else to look at right now. Price is doing exactly what it's been doing for the past hour and a half. So I created a operating system for the business. The operating system is about a 15-page comprehensive plan that basically includes everything from like what a typical day should look like to what a successful day looks like, what are the pillars for a successful day, you know, giving myself that kind of a scorecard. Essentially what I have is, let's see here. I'm pretty sure it's early on where I ended up having it. Yeah, so daily operating score. It's a simple score out of six categories. And there is the potential to give yourself a 0.5 instead of just scoring it as a 1 for each category. So basically it's morning foundation. The whole morning foundation is based on being up at 6:30 without extended snoozing, scheduled movement and mobility completed by 7:15. So that is waking up at 6:30 and doing movement. Some days those are runs, and then some days those are walks. Like basically every other day it's a walk, every other day it's a run. If you do that, that's one check. That's morning routine. We got up, we started the day off right. That's a check. That's how you get a successful day. That's how you start a successful day. It has to start there because that's the biggest thing I'm learning in trading is success in trading is more understandable by what you do outside of trading than honestly than what it can be during trading. Like if you're someone who shows up on the charts at 9 a.m., you're off by 11 a.m., and that's all you freaking do, then it's going to be really hard to make it. Anyways, the next one is professional preparation. So again, this is a step-by-step score that should, if completed at a 6 out of 6 level, result, wow, look at that, should result in a successful day. It should result in, if we do this time again and time again and time again, we should see some success. So for professional preparation, at desk by 8 a.m. with a coherent, well, not with a coherent plan, but and then creating a coherent plan that is complete before live trading. Number 3, execution and risk. Only qualified opportunities, no improvisation or fear-based avoidance, all risk and stopping rules followed. A correct no trade earns the point. So again, correct no trades. Execution and risk doesn't mean you actually have to execute and risk. It means you have to follow your execution and risk rules and requirements. Closeout and honesty. This is section 4. So this is essentially doing a review on that session on price, logging price for the day, logging everything, you know, trades taking, screenshots, journaling, and video completed honestly and right away. I think it's very enticing after having a bad day or having something happen to just get off the charts, close them down. But I think just submitting yourself to that review before kind of allows you to rehash it right then and there, rip the band-aid off while it's still raw, get through it, and then move on. So again, those are the first 4 points, and now we have completely gone from moment to wake up till moment we're done the morning session. Now, section 5, category 5 is development and business. Assignment output completed, PM/business block used according to plan. So basically every single day I have a business block in my afternoon where I have a specific developmental like thing I am doing that day. And there's 5 of them, one for each day. We're doing them repeatedly every week. They're kind of based on each day as well, because Monday is more of like doing a deep dive and review on Monday's price action and even like previous days price actions to kind of just get myself back in the swing of things. It's like if you haven't, played hockey in, a couple weeks, the best thing to do when you get on that ice is grab a puck, take some shots, kind of warm yourself up. You're not going to jump straight into a game. You're going to do some practice, and that's kind of essentially what Monday allows for. It allows you to get your feet wet. You have your first session of the week. You come in prepared and everything, obviously. But then in the PM session, it's about getting that mind locked in again, remembering those things that we talked about last week, kind of reviewing that. And then I think Tuesday is adding a new trade to the to my playbook. I essentially want to have like almost like an NFL playbook. I want to basically have every type of trade that I kind of take with a set of examples for each type of trade that are like my, holy grail type examples. The examples where it was super obvious before, during, and after, check marks on all the boxes and just efficient, clean price action. Those examples produce the kind of blueprint for my trading, and growing those every week with new examples is kind of what we want to be doing. And I think that's a good thing for Tuesday. Now, Wednesday, I think, is the best one. And personally, like I got the ChatGPT Plus for a free month. And so essentially what it has with it is it has ChatGPT Work, which essentially gives you a almost personal assistant. So I've been I went over all this with ChatGPT all week. What are we, Thursday now? I worked on it mainly on Tuesday and Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday, and then I finished it up on Wednesday. Sorry, I need to tighten my damn chair. This thing just comes loose every 5 minutes. Mainly worked on it, and then I finished it yesterday. It was fully finished yesterday, and now it's kind of like in action, I guess. But Wednesday is my favorite one that we came up with. So Wednesday is what it's going to be essentially is a midweek check-in. So let me just get the exact words, because honestly, I don't even care. This is awesome. Like, I just love going through this kind of stuff. So Wednesday is midweek performance and pattern review. So the purpose is to catch technical and behavioral patterns early enough to improve Thursday and Friday. So it's looking at what have I been doing the first 3 days of this week that I can notice, catch, change, fix, or just simply recognize and understand, so that coming into Thursday and Friday, we're not sitting there like, oh, it's the end of the week, blah, 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 making the same mistake over and over again. Like, where can we catch these mistakes or these issues that we're having? So the required work is reviewing Monday to Wednesday preparation, opportunities, execution, stop size, management, readiness, and emotional triggers. So basically an overall overview of what those first 3 days look like of the week, comparing opportunities that were qualified versus and taken versus ones that were skipped, invalid opportunities, just kind of checking whether weekly projections are still on map, whether we need to readjust our weekly projections, whether our weekly projection coming into the week has already been hit. Do we have another one? Kind of just like re-upping everything so that Thursday and Friday can be kind of like a 2-day, like almost like, I don't even know how to explain it, but I just love it. So the required output. So every single day has a required work and a required output section. So instead of just simply mind-numbingly doing work, quote unquote, and not really producing anything, just kind of filling time, every single day is required work, required output, which means every single day has to have something that has been created, something that has been produced from the work I've done that's going to help me. So for Wednesday, one evidence supported observation, one specific adjustment, and one specific adjustment for Thursday and Friday. The adjustment must describe the next observable behavior, not just like be more confident. It has to be like, what is the actual observable behavior that I can produce to effectively change what I have noticed is a problem. So I'm really in love with that. Thursday is deliberate chart replay and decision training. So the purpose is to practice real decisions without live financial pressure or knowledge. So essentially it's either going in chart replay or tape reading a PM session and just trading it like fully legit, but with paper money, and going through the thought processes, kind of reading price as you would read it as clinically as you possibly can. So like drawing out certain things, like drawing out that order block, like reading price, like just fully kind of being immersed in the trading aspect without actually putting on any risk. And then Friday is just a full weekly trading review. So each kind of block, as you can see, has a very specific purpose, and it has a very kind of real life purpose. It's not just watching an ICT video and taking notes. It's not just I don't know, like whatever it may be. It's not just pointless mind-numbing work. It's actual real work that affects the day-to-day function of me as a trader. So I'm really, really happy with what I have produced with this, and it just has everything. Like it even has just like life stuff, like workout related stuff, health, fitness, like all that kind of stuff is all included in this, because I have it labeled as a oh shit, fuck, I fucked up the order here. No, wait, daily operating, yeah, okay, never mind, be good. I just somehow, yeah, okay, we said it's an actually before it was operating, but it's a practical framework for disciplined trading, business growth, health, and a life outside of the charts. So it's basically an all-encompassing plan / system of operation for being a day trader and what I do on a day-to-day basis. Essentially, it's 6:30 until 5 o'clock every day is my day. But in that 6:30 to 5 o'clock, which is almost, it's 11 hours, 10 and a half hours of time. In that is a lunch break. In that is walks. In that is working out, because 4 to 5 is workout. Charts are closed by 4 o'clock. That's like kind of my business shutdown. And then working out is transitioning from business to downtime. And then from 5 to 10, like right now, for right now, from 5 to 10, it's downtime. It's my time. It's it's just me. It's 5 hours of the day where I get to just sit back, relax, and have no worries. It's the chance to reset, to get that brain back into like a coherent, rested state. But yeah, so we're just going to go over now. We're going to do our daily review, because obviously the day's cooked. Like, can you not see how perfect I called out today's price action? Like, when did I come on here? At 10 o'clock? I think, let's see how long it's been recording for. An hour and 11 minutes. Oh, wow. It's already been an hour and 11 minutes since I've been live on here. Damn. So you have seen the past hour and 11 minutes of me reading price. And I told you exactly what would happen. I told you exactly why I don't trust something, exactly why I think something's going to happen. Look at this mother effing trade. I even said you can bookmark this shit. I said it somewhere in this area right here. I said that what is likely to happen is that ES is going to sweep this high. NQ isn't, and then we're going to see another move lower. So I was like, okay, we could see this move. We could see this, and then we could see a pop back up, and that could take out that. And then exactly what I called out has happened. We saw a 100, I'm going to guess, I'm going to guess 97 point. No, 90. We got a 90 point pump in 3 minutes. Back above here, this should have retraced and slammed right into these highs. What the hell is this? This is exactly what I was saying, especially by this point in the day when we were getting this 1 minute inversion. Actually, sorry, when we were getting this 3 minute inversion, we were at 10:45. Like nothing was gonna freaking happen. If it hadn't already happened. So we are now approaching. We're almost approaching the 2 hour mark. Like we are an hour and 42 minutes into the market, and what have we done? Like literally nothing. Like this has got to be an all-time worst market ever, or worst morning session in a long freaking time. So yeah. Also, I just wanted to make a quick note. I have not looked at the financial calendar since Monday because I just saw that there's basically no news all week because FOMC meeting minutes are just not it. So what happened yesterday? I just want to quickly review yesterday at 2 o'clock to 2, well, basically from 2 to 3. So we did see, okay, so that's interesting. So we did see FOMC meeting minutes produce some sort of a move. You know, we saw an initial bump, a reversal, and then a range created, and we stayed right inside that range until we swept it down here right at 4 and then saw a slow climb back up. So basically nothing happened yesterday out of the norm. And I don't like a trade. I don't like a manipulation leg unless we take that out. We would have to take that out for me to feel confident in a long at this point. But okay, so next week we have Jackson Hole Symposium. Yeah, it's the end of August every year. Because I do remember there's all these kind of different symposiums, and like Jackson Hole Symposium, like I think the annoying part about trading ICT is that there's so many reasons not to trade. And I feel like I've heard ICT say a lot of the times on this particular week you want to be done trading by Wednesday. But whatever. Next week we do have some news. We have 8:30 news on Wednesday, potential for us to see something here. Thursday, this starts. Friday, we have 10 a.m. news. And then obviously next week is our big week. We have NFP, PMI on. Jolts is now yellow on Tuesday. Or sorry, orange on Tuesday. ADP, PMI, yeah. And then I'm assuming CPI the next week for the bank holiday. That's nice. Oh wow, we're doing a Thursday Friday. Oh wow. So PPI is before CPI, and it's gonna be on a Friday. So that's just gonna be a nightmare. And then we actually have an FOMC next month, and then we have another week. So next month actually has a lot of potential. So next month has our NFP week, which NFP weeks are usually really good. I like NFP weeks. I find Mondays can sometimes be the best trading days. Tuesday to Thursdays are usually okay, and then Fridays can usually give something. This again, PPI, CPI week, FOMC week, blank week, and then right back into the cycle. So that's good. So let's do a review for today. Let's work on this. We're gonna practice it and we're gonna go over it. So daily review Thursday. Let's just do 08/20. Readiness. We were green today. Also I have readiness is green, yellow, red. Red basically means I can't trade. Because it means something significant enough has happened for me to be like, okay, I shouldn't be trading right now. So, but green today. Yellow is kind of like, maybe something in the personal life that's significant enough to maybe be causing trouble sleeping. You're waking up tired multiple weeks in a row or multiple days in a row without a good sleep, that type of stuff where you kind of feel like you're coming into the morning at a disadvantage. All yellow is reducing risk and recognizing that, hey, not doing the best. Trades 0, so we're just break even on the day. Well, technically there's one trade, but it was break even. So you know what? Technically we did take a trade, so we're gonna put 1. I'm just gonna do $4, and then for risk RR, we're just gonna put break even. So bias was bullish. I was incorrect. I was very incorrect. The material change was extreme chop, zero direction or trend for 2 hours from 9:30 to 11:30, because technically I'm probably going to be on here till about 11:30. Opportunity, best qualified setup. Best qualified setup was probably the 1 minute right there. Best qualified setup, I would say the 10, 20, 20, 15 to 1 min. I'm just going to label that as like the entry model for this trade was 15 minute to 1 minute. So we had a 15-minute liquidity level is what this was. It was a liquidity level inside of a 15-minute gap. It's a 15-minute liquidity level, 1 minute flip. We get change in state of delivery when the candle gets above here, and then we get the 1 minute gap flip. It was a correct pass. Why? What was that word we said again? Fuck. Uh oh yeah. I'm just say legitimate lack of trust plus structurally not clean. It seems like there was very low volume. And just so legitimate discretion, yes, legitimate. So invalid trade considered slash taken. No, there was no invalid trades that were considered or taken. I consider the scalp I try to open to be valid because, again, it was one of those things where you expect the opening candle to produce at least a 40-point range, and you're opening within, you're opening within 20 points of a significant high that's in the general direction of the trend and seems like where we actually want to be heading. So I'd say this is a valid trade. I'm not going to really like study it because I know what it is. It's significant levels being it's significant levels on the chart prior to 9:30 that we're very close to, and just putting a buy stop and sell limit very close to each other right at that level, expecting us to just purge straight through it. So I'd say no, there's no invalid trades taken or considered. Again, the 3 minute, I don't even know if it's a valid trade at that point. When you have an hour of chop inside of that, I don't know if that 3 minute really remains valid. Risk management. Yeah, so we're just gonna do N/A because we didn't really take a trade. So yeah, I would say, oh yeah, and then the score thing right here. This is awesome. I really, really like this. I don't have a camera right now, so I can't really show it, but actually I can. Go to downloads, see more, weekly, monthly, operating system. Oh, I think it's this one actually, that's why. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. So each day is this blue box. I'm on Thursday, and you just go through it all. It's simple stuff. There's not a lot of writing. Like, I'm literally going through this as we speak. There's not a lot of writing. There's not really a lot of thinking. It's pretty, oh, damn, whatever. It's pretty self-explanatory. So in the last two sections I'm on is decisions and learning. So decisions, I think best decision was staying hands off. The worst decision of the day was, I would say, missing pre-market. Because the best qualified setup was that. Like, we had a sweep of liquidity, we had a very strong displacement, kind of engulfing candle. It was in the direction of our bias, in the direction of our draw on liquidity. It seemed very good, but just discretion and personal understanding of the market led me to just say no. I don't like it. Emotion, I would say my emotion was pretty solid today. I'd say my emotion was pretty solid. I'd say pretty above average, actually. I feel like I just have a lot more confidence after yesterday. And I think coming into the morning session too, I was a little annoyed, to be honest, because obviously it sucks to earn money from a payout and then have to lose some of that money because that particular company is not offering the preferred method of paying out. So I would say I was kind of thrown for a bit of a loop, but I think once I kind of regained myself and got into the market, I felt a lot more confident in my abilities and felt like I could trust myself a lot more now. So yeah, I'm really happy with what has occurred today. Um, um, yeah, so 982 should be like the max I get, but then with the crappy conversion rate, probably gonna get about 950. So that's fine. I'm losing about $50. Um, because what would I have what should I have technically gotten? Like 743 would have been like that 1023, and then you would have had that little buffer zone for like exchange rates of $23. So you would have got the guaranteed um yeah, 4 months. Yeah, you would have got the guaranteed thing, but unfortunately we had to lose $30. I don't even know. Like, I'm probably just gonna be monitoring my bank account. I don't even know how, like, I just wish it came quicker. Like, you think in today's modern day, like, to wire money, like, especially like it's less than $1,000 USD. Like, to wire that kind of money should not take multiple business days. Like, there should be a pretty quick way to get that shit going. But I think I would do want to open up a ticket and just why um understand why we're not. Yeah, I wish there was wait, are you serious? So for new, oh my gosh, you have to get 5 winning days again? Oh no. Oh no. I did not know that. I did not know that you need 5 winning days. Fuck my life. 5 more fucking winning days? Are you serious? Let's just finish this. I think I need to step away. I'm gonna blow my brains out here. I'm actually a little bit cheesy. I thought Top Step rules, because I thought the rules were something like with the payout, you just have to get back up to the number you actually withdrew. I didn't know. Yeah, so you just. Mm. Oh, we're not going to let that affect us, because in reality, we shouldn't be worried. We know we can trade. We know we can read the market. We know we have discernment. We have knowledge. We have experience. We have all the things required and necessary to be a successful trader. We just have to work on executing those traits and attributes that I do have and turning that into success in the markets. So lesson learned today, just trust yourself, I would say. I'd rather miss a good trade with a legitimate reason than take a bad trade that I should have known better not to take. Like, I'd rather have missed out on this 1 minute and it went straight up to this level up here, because that would have been, what is going on? Because that would have ended up being a good trade on paper, obviously. Technically speaking, this would have been a 2.8R trade. But we know that we can do this. We just have to trust intuition, trust ourselves. There's no playbook candidate. I would say there's a potential, actually. There's a potential. I'd say there's potential, because this could be a playbook candidate for choppy days. And we could categorize this as strong overnight trend, choppy AM session, and then just kind of mark down what was there. Strong overnight trend resulted in a major level being purged. We saw it bounce back into the range, and then prior to open, post open, we just had no, like, we could do that. So actually, let's do that. So next focus is, do we have a next focus? No, I'd say there's no real next focus. Nah, I'd say no. No real next focus. We'll just do NA. So morning prep. Morning. We're going to give myself a 0. I was not up at 6:30 today. Mainly because I couldn't fall asleep. I was on a bit too much of a high yesterday to sleep very well. Prep. I would say prep was 1. Because we did get the prep. Once we actually got the payout all figured out, we did seriously sit down and come up with a plan. Execution and risk was a 1. Good. Closeout, well, we're doing that now. That's good. And then development/business and shutdown, that can't be done yet. So right now we're at a 3 out of 4, 75%. You know, if we were taking a test, I mean, you can't be too upset with a 75%. So development and business, that's our next section for today. We're probably just going to end up treating it more as like just doing something. Just because, again, like we can either review shit or we can just kind of make sure we have everything kind of set up so that next week we could just fly straight into this full speed ahead. I'd rather do that. So I'm probably just going to this afternoon look at anything else I need to really do before we can fully kind of be prepped for next week to take off. So yeah, we're going to close that out there. Close today out in terms of trading. Maybe we'll tape read PM, I don't know, but as of right now, we're done for the day. We're going to close that out. Go eat some food. Relax. All right. Peace.